Have you ever thought about the legality of your survival strategies? Welcome to the unsettling world of outlawed prepping. In the pursuit of survival, sometimes ordinary acts can become legally questionable. Let's take a walk on the wild side of prepping, where the line between right and wrong is blurred by the need to survive. Picture this. You're on your property, looking up at the sky as rain pours down. You think, what a great opportunity to collect fresh water. But in some places, believe it or not, this simple act could land you in hot water with the law. In certain jurisdictions, collecting rainwater, a natural resource that falls freely from the sky, is considered illegal. And it doesn't stop there. In some regions, certain types of food storage are banned. For instance, you might be forbidden from storing more than a week's worth of food. This law might sound absurd, especially considering that natural disasters or other emergencies can cut off food supplies for extended periods. Yet, in the eyes of the law, your prudent planning could be seen as a criminal act. These examples highlight the absurdity of laws that criminalize survival strategies, and they pose a chilling question: what happens when the law itself becomes a threat to survival? When the rules designed to maintain order instead create chaos, what are we left with? These laws don't just impact our ability to prepare, they also put us in an uncomfortable moral position. How can it be wrong to collect rainwater or store food for potential emergencies? Isn't it our fundamental right, perhaps even our duty, to protect ourselves and our loved ones? When survival instincts clash with the legal landscape, it puts us in a precarious position. It forces us to make tough decisions that could have serious implications, and it raises the question, when the law threatens survival, where do you draw the line? When the law threatens your survival, do you choose safety or legality? Let's dive into the moral dilemmas preppers face. Imagine this. You're a prepper in a region where collecting rainwater is considered illegal. A drought hits and your municipal water supply is cut off. You have the means to collect rainwater for your family, but doing so would be against the law. What would you do? This is the kind of moral quandary that some preppers face. It's not just about breaking the law, it's about ensuring the survival of your loved ones. Consider another scenario. You live in an area where certain types of food storage are banned due to health regulations. A crisis hits and food becomes scarce. You know how to preserve food in a way that could sustain your family for months, but it's technically illegal. Would you risk the legal repercussions to keep your family fed? These stories are not just hypothetical. They are real-life dilemmas faced by preppers who are pushed into the gray areas of the law by their desire to protect and provide for their families. But these decisions come with a heavy ethical burden. Is it right to break the law when survival is at stake? Or should one adhere to societal rules even if it could mean endangering your family? These questions don't have easy answers. Every individual's moral compass is different. Some might argue that laws are made for the greater good and should be respected at all costs. Others might say that the instinct to survive and protect our loved ones is a more primal law, one that supersedes any man-made legislation. The choice between law and survival isn't easy. It's a decision that weighs heavily on the conscience. In the end, the line between right and wrong in these situations is blurred. It's a murky, gray area that forces preppers to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves and the world they live in. But one thing is certain: when survival is at stake, the moral quandaries that arise are as real and as pressing as the physical challenges of prepping. Choosing survival over legality isn't just a physical challenge, it's an emotional and psychological one too. This is the arena where survival instinct grapples with societal norms, where the will to live wrestles with the will to conform. It's a battleground that each prepper must navigate in their own way, and the decisions they make here are as revealing as they are consequential. Let's delve into this psychological maelstrom. Imagine you're stockpiling food, water, and supplies, not out of greed, but out of a primal need to survive. Yet the law and societal norms view your actions with suspicion. How do you reconcile this with your ethical beliefs? How do you sleep at night, knowing that your survival could be seen as a transgression by others? The answer is complex, unique to each individual. Some preppers find solace in the belief that their actions are not born out of malice but necessity. They see their survival instinct as a fundamental human right that supersedes any man-made law. They view their preparations as an act of self-preservation, not rebellion. Others grapple with guilt, a lingering unease that they're stepping over a line they've been taught not to cross. They're torn between their instinct to survive and their desire to fit within society's framework. It's a delicate balancing act, a constant tug-of-war between the fear of societal backlash and the fear of being unprepared. And then there are those who adopt a more pragmatic approach. They see survival as a game, and like any game, it has rules. Sometimes, to win, you have to bend those rules. This doesn't mean they abandon their morals. Instead, they redefine them in the context of survival, adjusting their ethical compass to navigate the blurry boundaries of right and wrong. Survival isn't just about physical readiness, it's about mental resilience too. It's about wrestling with these ethical dilemmas, grappling with guilt, and learning to live with the choices we make. It's about understanding that the will to survive is as much a part of our humanity as the laws and norms we create. After all, what good are societal norms if there's no society left to uphold them? Surviving in the gray zone requires more than just physical preparedness. It requires discretion and strategy. When the laws of man put your survival at risk, you have to tread carefully. So let's delve into the practical side of navigating these murky waters. Firstly, discretion is key. In a world where certain survival tactics are frowned upon or outright outlawed, subtlety is your best ally. Whether it's acquiring essential supplies or storing them, make sure your actions don't draw unwanted attention. Go for unassuming storage solutions that blend into your home decor. Think hidden compartments in furniture or underground storage in your backyard. Next, consider non-traditional supply sources. If buying in bulk at your local store raises eyebrows, explore other options. Online marketplaces, bartering groups, or even growing and preserving your own food can be smart alternatives. These methods not only help you stay under the radar, but they also provide a sense of self-reliance that's invaluable in survival situations. Another critical aspect is knowing your local laws. While it's true that some survival strategies might be outlawed, it's also true that laws vary from one region to another. Do your homework. Understand the specific legalities in your area. Knowledge, after all, is power. Then, there's the matter of timing. If you're worried about attracting attention, spread out your purchasing and preparation activities. Instead of buying a year's worth of supplies in one go, make smaller, more frequent purchases. This way, you can gradually build your stockpile without setting off alarm bells. Finally, remember that your survival instinct is not a crime. It's a fundamental part of being human. So don't let the gray areas scare you. Instead, use them as an opportunity to get creative, to think outside the box, and to truly embrace the spirit of prepping. Surviving in the shadows isn't easy, but with the right strategies, it's possible. Remember, you're not alone in this. There's a whole community of preppers out there navigating the gray areas right alongside you. Who says you need to break the law to survive? Let's explore legal alternatives to outlawed prepping. It's time to understand that preparation doesn't always have to be a clandestine operation, skirting laws and societal norms. There are numerous innovative survival strategies that comply with laws and still offer robust protection against disasters. Consider vertical farming, for instance. Growing your own food is a fundamental prepping strategy, but what do you do when space is limited, or traditional farming is restricted? The solution is to grow upwards. Vertical farming, whether on your balcony or in your living room, is a great way to ensure a steady supply of fresh produce. It's legal, it's sustainable, and it's surprisingly efficient. Then there's the art of bartering. In an age where cash is king, the concept of trade can seem outdated. But in a post-disaster scenario, skills and goods can become more valuable than paper money. Learning to barter effectively is a completely legal way of preparing for a potential future where currency as we know it changes or even disappears. And what about alternative energy sources? Solar panels, wind turbines, and geothermal systems can offer independence from the grid. These technologies are not only legal but are often encouraged through government incentives. By harnessing these resources, you're preparing for a future where traditional energy sources may no longer be reliable or accessible. However, it's important to remember that while these methods are legal, they're not without their challenges. Vertical farming requires knowledge and resources. Bartering depends on having something of value to exchange, and alternative energy sources can require significant initial investment. But with careful planning and commitment, these hurdles can be overcome. With creativity and resourcefulness, it's possible to prep legally without compromising on safety. The key is to think outside the box, to challenge the conventional wisdom that prepping is a shadowy, law-breaking endeavor. It's about finding innovative, legal ways to ensure your survival, no matter what the future brings. In a world where your survival choices might isolate you, how do you build a community of trust? This is a question that hovers like a specter over the lives of outlawed preppers. It's not just about surviving, it's about surviving together, because no man is an island. Community plays a pivotal role in survival. It's not just about pooling resources or sharing knowledge and skills. It's about the human connection, the shared experiences, the mutual support. But for outlawed preppers, building a community can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, you have a network of like-minded individuals who understand your fears, share your worries, and are prepared to face the same challenges. On the other hand, you run the risk of exposure, of attracting the wrong sort of attention, of becoming a target. Outlawed preppers often find themselves walking a tightrope between these two realities. They build networks of trust, but they do so cautiously and discreetly. They gather in secret, communicate in code, and maintain a low profile. They protect themselves and their community from potential backlash by staying under the radar. It's a delicate balance, a careful dance of survival and secrecy. But even in the face of these challenges, outlawed preppers find ways to foster community. They connect through online forums, covert meetups, and clandestine training sessions. They share tips and tricks, offer support and encouragement, and stand together in the face of adversity. They understand that in a world where survival choices might isolate them, community is their lifeline. Yet, it's important to remember that community isn't just about finding people who share your views or practices. It's about finding people who respect your choices, understand your fears, and support your journey. Because in the end, it's not just about surviving, it's about surviving together. Community isn't just about companionship, it's a crucial part of survival. Because when the chips are down and the world is teetering on the brink, it's the bonds we forge, the communities we build that will see us through. Survival isn't just about preparing for the worst, it's about making choices you can live with. As we've journeyed through the shadowy waters of outlawed prepping, we've confronted uncomfortable realities, from the legal restrictions that push survival strategies into the gray zone, to the moral dilemmas that arise when the rules of society collide with our primal instinct for self-preservation. We've grappled with the psychological and emotional implications of choosing survival over societal approval, and the mental toll it takes when we're forced to prepare in ways that may be frowned upon, or outright forbidden. We've looked at practical strategies for navigating these murky waters, from discreetly acquiring and storing supplies, to remaining under the radar while still being prepared for the worst. We've considered alternative methods of prepping, ones that don't compromise on quality or extent, yet still comply with the laws of the land. We've also pondered the role of community in a world where survival choices might isolate us, or paradoxically, connect us deeper with like-minded individuals. We've delved into how outlawed preppers build networks of trust while protecting themselves from potential backlash. In a world teetering between order and chaos, outlawed prepping, choosing between morals and survival instinct, offers more than survival tips. It invites you to think critically about what you're preparing for and why. It's not about fear-mongering or promoting lawlessness. It's about understanding that survival is a complex interplay of legality, morality, and human instinct. If this journey into the depths of outlawed prepping struck a chord with you, we invite you to hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. This isn't just a video, it's a conversation, a dialogue, an exploration of the shadowy corners of survival that we often shun away from. So, how would you navigate the waters of outlawed prepping? What choices would you make, and how would you reconcile them with your morals, your laws, your survival instincts? Let's redefine survival together.